What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream. And today, obviously, we'll be talking about all the latest news. We'll be looking back over yesterday's game as Arsenal scraped a victory against FC Zurich. We'll be talking about the news, obviously, that all of the Premier League games have been cancelled this weekend. And, obviously, we know the reason why. That obviously, before we start the show, obviously, the news broke yesterday during the watch along. The Queen passed away. Sad news. Of course, the country is, and a lot of people around the world are mourning at the moment. And obviously, it's having a big effect on a number of events in the UK. And one of those is football. So obviously, my thoughts go out to the family. Very sad time for them. And it's not good. It's sad times for people. It's interesting how it's had such a big effect on sport. One of my opinions, something for me that I think is a little bit wrong, if I'm being totally honest. I realize that a lot of people are very sad and upset and mourning, and you have to be respectful. I think football is something that brings people together. It gives people something to focus on. And, just as an example, my son's football has been called off this weekend, right? His game's been called off. Now, surely you should want the kids to play football. You don't want them to sit in the house all weekend. And so for me, if you can go to the pub and go and drink 10 pints, but you can't play football, something that actually, promotes your health physically and mentally, then I don't understand that. I think, if football's got to stop, then everything should stop. You shouldn't, the shops and the offices should have closed as well. I think you could have had a minute's silence, minute's applause. You could have had everyone wears black armbands. You could have brought out wreaths. You could have put a face on the big screen. You could have put a face on the programs, memorial like programs at every ground. For me, I think that sport should have been a way of celebrating the Queen. She was very involved in sport in this country, and forcing everybody to stop. For me, is probably not the right thing to do. Some people would disagree, and I realize it's a very touchy subject, so I have to be careful how I word it. But I just think they should have used sport as a way of celebration for the Queen this weekend rather than shutting everything down. A lot of people are going to be indoors this weekend. I think sport would have been very important. So that's just my opinion, but it is what it is. We're not in control of it, and it's something we have to deal with. But listen, thank you very much to everybody for tuning in. Big up to everyone who supported on the watch along last night. It was a very interesting watch along. Obviously, it happened at half time. I was vibes in the first half, singing and that. Second half was a little bit flat, obviously, and it changed the mood somewhat. But big up to everyone for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Fit said the cancellation of games this weekend is utterly ridiculous. Stop people having fun and force them to mourn. Make sure all you peasants still go to work. Listen, I think mourning should be a choice. And I think football could have really brought people together this weekend. I really do. I think they've missed a bit of an opportunity there. But listen, it is what it is. And this is the way they're going to go about it. So, unit short for unity. Six Champions League winner said it's dumb to cancel everything, but I'm happy I don't have to watch Milner play. Oh, my days. Yeah, exactly. A lot of people would have been travelling from abroad this weekend. Imagine if you had flights booked, trains booked, hotels booked. You've paid for your tickets. Listen, I know under the circumstances that there are more important things in life than football, right? That's how they'll be looking at it. Life itself is the most important. And I understand that. I totally do. I suppose money is certainly not the most important thing right now. But ultimately, life has to continue for people. And people, we're going through an economic crisis at the moment. And a lot of people, will have lost a lot of money due to these games being cancelled that I'm sure they can't, get money back for. So listen, I understand fully. You have to, pay your respects and all of that. I totally agree with that. I just think they could have used sport as a way of uniting the country this weekend. And like I said, if you're going to shut down the country and say stop and pay your respects, then cool, go along with that. You shouldn't have to go to work this weekend, in my opinion. If you work in an office, you work in a factory, you work wherever you work, I'm sure the majority of you are still having to go to work this weekend, which is what I'm saying, But listen, it is what it is. Ram Kumar, wow, Big C, life itself is the most important. Come on, man, listen. One thing I'll say to each and every one of you, just before we get into the show today, and I know I'm harping on a little bit, make the most of everything, people. Make the most. Enjoy yourself. Smile. Make memories. Go on holidays. Take opportunities. Go for things. Take risks. Don't put yourself in crazy positions that are going to mash up your life. But enjoy yourself, Life, we can't take it for granted. We have to make the most and always enjoy ourselves, But big up to each and every one of you for giving up your time today. Really appreciate it. And obviously, this will affect the channel somewhat. And let's get into it. Let's just get into it, people. This video was supposed to be a sponsored video today. But I just felt like it wasn't right for me to kind of be throwing up a sponsor halfway through the show. So I'm not doing that in case the sponsors themselves are actually watching and they think, why am I not advertising? So I'm not gonna do a sponsor on today's video. It just doesn't feel appropriate. Anyway, let's talk about what happened this morning. We were all kind of waiting around. What's the news going to be? What's going to happen? And see where we're kind of at. The Premier League put out an announcement. It was interesting that the government didn't force the Premier League to stop their games this weekend. They left it to the discretion of the FA and the Premier League. So that was making me think, are we going to get football? Surely the government would have implemented it and said, no, there's no football. But they left it to the Premier League, and the Premier League put out the statement at a meeting this morning. Premier League clubs paid tribute to Her Majesty the Queen Elizabeth II to honour her extraordinary life and contribution to the nation, and as a mark of respect, this weekend's Premier League match round will be postponed, including Monday evening's games. Further updates regarding Premier League fixtures during the period of mourning will be provided in due course. So, just to give a little bit of context, people. Just to give a little bit of context. Now, they're saying that next weekend they expect to be the funeral of the Queen. They expect it to be next weekend. And they're saying if it is next weekend, because of the amount of police that they're going to have to use for the funeral, because obviously world leaders will travel in and this, that, the other, and they're going to have thousands upon thousands of police there. They're saying if this is to happen over the weekend, next weekend, that there is a big possibility that the Premier League fixtures will be cancelled next weekend as well, people. Just to put things into context, they're saying at the moment, this is just what I'm reading online, they think the funeral could be next Sunday as a possibility. Because of the amount of police needed for the funeral, this would probably lead to a postponement of fixtures next weekend in the Premier League as well. Now, just to put that into context, the weekend after that is the international break. So you could be looking at 3 weeks before you see another Arsenal fixture in the Premier League, people, which, listen, just from a purely footballing point of view and a fan of any channel and and whatever team you support, is definitely a down point. I think a lot of people A lot of people use the weekend, and the football is a little bit of a, it's a very nice way to escape or enjoy something else of your work and all the things. You sit down at the weekend, watch a Premier League. It's a nice thing to do over the weekend, and it looks as if there will be no Premier League game. Well, we know there's no Premier League games this weekend. And according to reports, this is in the newspapers, this is on a lot of people saying next weekend's fixtures are very unlikely to go ahead in the Premier League as well, people. So it could be 3 weeks until you see your team play a club match, with there being an international break the weekend after next. Now, that was what the Premier League had to say. I want to offer a little bit of context, and at the moment, there appears to be a little bit of confusion online from people, because a lot of people are saying that the European fixtures will go ahead during the week, which is very interesting. Now, Arsenal are due to play PSV Eindhoven at home this Thursday. Now, will those games go ahead or not? Now, I've seen something here that during the period of mourning, which some people are saying 9 days, some people are saying 12, there will be no major sporting events in this country. They may have to play it outside of England. So, because of the hectic fixture schedule, could Arsenal potentially go and play PSV away from home rather than playing them at home? There's talk that the fixtures will be moved to Dublin in Ireland, because it's outside of the United Kingdom and you are able to play the game there. Will they just cancel the fixture? I genuinely have no idea how they are going to deal with this situation. Now, just to put it into context, let me zoom in. Obviously, Arsenal against Everton was tomorrow. That game is off. Not tomorrow, sorry, Sunday. That game is cancelled. Our next Premier League fixture would have been Brentford next Sunday. That game is cancelled, possibly. From what people are saying, there is a real possibility that game could be called off. But, of course, we have this game against PSV midweek on Thursday at the Emirates, but according to reports, there will be no major sporting activity during this time of mourning in this country. There's now a big report saying they may move any European fixture in England over to Dublin in the Republic of Ireland, the Aviva Stadium. There you go, Alan. Might hold a number of games this week, which is absolutely crazy, and they're gonna be scrambling because fixture congestion. Just to put it into give you some clarity, Liverpool was supposed to play Ajax at Anfield on Tuesday. Tottenham are away in Lisbon, so they could play really. Chelsea were at home against Salzburg, so theirs would be affected. Man City had Dortmund, so theirs would be affected. And then on Thursday, we had PSV Eindhoven, Manchester United, their fixture is away. So I have no idea how this is going to work, because, for example, Chelsea and Manchester City play at home on the same day. Could they both play on the same day in Ireland? What happens for fans? What happens? It's carnage right now. It's absolute carnage. So as you can see by the fixtures, Arsenal's next Premier League game, as South London's Finest says, could be the North London derby on the 1st of October. This will be after the international break. When you bear in mind it's the 9th of September today, you may not be seeing an Arsenal game until the 1st of October. It's a long time, and a lot of uncertainty at the moment. As I said before, I don't want to seem insensitive. I know that, we're talking about somebody losing their life, a mother, a sister, a grandparent, an auntie, and it's sad times, and it's very... it feels quite flat in the UK at the moment for anybody that's living here. It feels very, a little bit of a flat feeling at the moment. But just from a football point of view, it's going to have a very big effect on things moving forward over the next couple of weeks. As I said, for me, I would have liked to have seen football gone ahead this weekend. Some people might think that's a little bit insensitive. I personally think that football is a fantastic way to bring people together. I think it was a way that we could have actually celebrated her life this weekend. Black armbands, minutes applause, bringing out flowers before games, putting her face on the big screen. Maybe you put her face on every programme in the Premier League this weekend. I think they could have celebrated her life rather than maybe mourning her as much and stopping people from doing things. I think football is very important for a lot of people. A lot of people work all week to go and watch football at the weekend. It's good for their mental health. They get to see their friends. They chat. They get outdoors. Just these little things. I know some people will say it's 1-2 weeks, not the end of the world. I just think that they could have and probably should have let football go ahead. As I said, I got an email saying that my son's games have been called off this weekend. To me, I think I don't think kids' football should have been affected. Even if you're going to affect, Premier League football, I don't think kids' football should have been stopped. I don't think that's the right way, but it is what it is. Darren said that is mad. Big up Daniel, man. I hope you're well, bro. He said, cancel the international break. Yeah, listen, for me, those international games are Mickey Mouse games. I think you're talking about, are they nations games? Just get rid of them. Who cares, They won't, though, because the countries will be saying it's the World Cup. They need every little bit of preparation they can get, and they will want to play those games. D-Man said, stopping the kids is insane. Makes no sense. What's it got to do with the kids? No disrespect. They should be able to play football this weekend, but hey, it is what it is. Crazy world, the way they deal with things sometimes. International break now is a shame. It is, I don't like it at the best of times. Null and void the league, says Chris. Well, we're top right now, so just end it. Just end the season and give us the title, We wouldn't be in the Invincibles now, actually, because we lost. But null and void the league, man. We've all had enough. Let's see. Preparation equals money. Yeah. Omid, the players need the international break to keep fit now with the Premier League games postponed. I think people are saying cancel the international break and continue with your league games that weekend. So you would still be playing. Bring it to Ireland and get me a ticket, says Tommy. Listen, it'll be interesting. Yeah, man, big up the Twitch community always, man. C-Unit business. C-Unit means Twitch and YouTube togetherness, people. Big up, everyone. Over 1,000 of you tuning in. I appreciate you tuning in. I wasn't even sure whether to stream today, to be honest. But, I just thought I would touch base. Obviously, with a lot of football being cancelled, it's going to affect the content. Transfer window is closed. And obviously, the talking points are going to be very limited. So, I'm somebody that I don't like to force content. The content will be out as and when. It might be a case of, try and collab with some people and trying to keep things ticking over like that. Don't forget, people, European and international football is going to still continue. So, don't be surprised. We might do a little PSG watch along, or we might do a Barcelona or Real Madrid or something else, We'll keep things ticking over. And it looks as if we are going to get some Champions League and Europa League football this week. I think where the complication is if your game is in the UK, it seems quite difficult for the fixture to go ahead. If you've got an away fixture this week, then I think the game will happen. If the game is at home, then I think it will be quite difficult. Do some Twitch stuff. Now, that could be the one, because obviously I can show some content, I can play some music. So anybody who doesn't follow me on Twitch, Curtis Shaw TV on Twitch, follow me on there as well. We may do some stuff on there. Maybe we'll do some different things. Maybe we'll look back on some of the highlights of the season. Maybe we'll do some hip-hop. Maybe we'll do some gaming. We may have to do something different to mix it up. And we'll do that, people. Bayern v Barca on Tuesday. I mean, that's a no-brainer, isn't it? I'll definitely be doing some Champions League watch-alongs this week for sure, people. Stuart said, it's a few games of football. This is what's wrong with the country. Zero respect for anybody or anything. And I saw this comment, Stuart, and, some channels would leave that comment because it's negative. They don't want to answer it. I'm gonna answer it because I think it's important for me to address my opinion. And I have said it twice, but for anybody that's just tuned in, I want you to understand it. I understand paying your respects. Totally go along with that. Um, and I totally agree that you should be respectful. What I'm saying is, if a pub is open this weekend, Stuart, and you can go to a pub and drink 10 pints, what is different between a pub and between sport? Sport is positive. Sport is outdoors. It's exercise. It's good for people's mental health. People come together. They talk. They mix. I think sport, football has a very positive impact on people. My opinion is if the pub is open, if the shops are open, if you have to go to work this weekend, then my question is, why does sport, why does football have to stop? If you're going to stop, for me, stop everything. Lock it all off, stay at home. We go back to lockdown settings and do that. For me, just as an example, as a father, telling your kids they can't play football this weekend, I don't think that makes sense. I think the kids need to continue to play football. I don't think it should have affected them. That's my opinion. Not everybody will agree with it. I think as long as you put it across in a respectful way, then that's my opinion. So, Stuart, that's your opinion. I understand it. And some people will have a different, thought process for me. But ultimately, people have to continue with their lives. That's just the reality. You might still get a bill through your door this morning from the postman. They're not going to let you off because of what's happened. So that's my point, people. I just think football could have brought us together. We could have celebrated her life rather than stopping. And, but that's my opinion. I don't know what's going off with other sports. Is rugby still on? He said that rugby is still on. I don't know about the cricket and the boxing. I know there was a big boxing fight this weekend. Assassin6 said, big up Curtis, currently at work. Weird vibe. Everyone seems down. Football would have increased the mood. Yeah. I think it could have lifted the mood a little bit. I really do. Lockdown settings, man, is crazy. Fitz said, Stuart, there's a hell of a lot more wrong with this country than paying your respect. Yeah, listen. People will pay their respect in their own way. It's fine. You knew this was coming, mate. Yeah, listen, I did have a feeling yesterday that the country would come to a halt. Arsenal's tribute to the Queen should be to get a new midfielder and a winger, Royal Gooner. Listen, there were some great pictures yesterday and some videos of the Queen. I believe that Arsenal are one of the only football clubs in the Premier League to have ever visited the Queen. Thierry Henry, Arsene Wenger. There were some great pictures, some great videos. And I felt that, I thought that was really good. It was heartwarming stuff. Arsenal put out a couple of nice tributes as well. Amo said, respect Big C for answering that comment. Yeah, you know me, people. I don't hide. As long as you're respectful with it, I will answer you, no problem. So, yeah, man. Even in Jamaica, we had to declare 12 days of mourning. The Prem should just give us the title as a tribute. Yeah, she was a gooner, man. Give it to Arsenal, Cricket is going ahead. See, why is that continuing, but the footy isn't? And that's what I'm saying. I don't know what the difference is. Stuart, listen, it's fine. Stuart, I one thing I will say. I don't want this to be a channel where everybody just agrees with what I think. I would love it if you did. But if you don't, by all means, throw it in the comments and we debate. It's fine. As long as you're respectful, I'm prepared to answer your back. So, Stuart, he said, thanks for your reply. We'll have to agree to disagree. That's fine, Stuart. I appreciate your response and appreciate you tuning in today. Gunnar Graham said the test match is cancelled. Oh, okay, so I think England were they playing South Africa? Omid said, it's emotional for me, Big C. Same birthday as me, 21st of April. Oh, man, sad. Very sad. Big up Chris, who said, watching this stream poolside in Gran Canaria. Listen, enjoy your life, man. If these things don't teach you anything, it's that, you should make the most. Make the most of your life. J Dime, did you hear about Trevor Sinclair? Yeah, Trevor Sinclair has probably ended his entire career. Sometimes there's things that you think, and sometimes you have to rein it in and not start posting things on public platforms. And I think he was very stupid, to be honest. And the cancel culture will be onto him. They'll want his career to be done. So yeah, very very stupid. He's a smart enough guy, man. He should have known better than to throw that on a public platform, really. Um, so yeah, I know. I understand he deleted his account. Some people asking what he said. Basically, what he said, I can't remember it word for word, but he said something along the lines of black people and brown people should not be mourning the Queen's passing because of things that have happened with racism in this country over the last 50, 60, 70 years. I don't know if he worded it exactly the same as that, but yeah, everybody obviously has piled in on him. He's deleted his social media, and I believe he's probably going to get sacked. So, you know, it was poor. Ross, everybody keep your chins up, RIP Queen Elizabeth. You know what, Ross? And listen, let me get to that. And I know this is a football conversation we're having, but I want to say that to everyone. Keep your heads up. I know a lot of people are very sad right now, but I always think you have to try and remain positive in negative situations. And, you know, if we do have to slow down for a little bit, take a little bit of time, gather yourself, and we go again when everything comes back, you know. So, yeah, everyone keep your heads up. At the end of the day, every one of you, all of us, we're still here. We're breathing. We go again and make the most, man. So, listen, if we got no football for the weekend, we got no football. Maybe I'll do a European watch-along. I'm definitely going to do it during the Champions League game. So, yeah. Anyway, let's move on, people. Let's move on. Let's conversate about football. Try and uplift people's spirits a little bit with all that's going on at the moment. Arsenal. Let's talk Arsenal. Do you know what? It was crazy. With all that happened last night, I kind of, I just didn't think about the game. It's like by the time the game finished, I was almost, I almost forgot the game completely. So I was trying to figure it out, and I was like, yo, player ratings. So I'm going to kind of freestyle my way through the player ratings. Oh, MO7, how could I forget? Do you know what? I'm going to be honest with you, MO7. Do you know why I haven't slandered Man United too much today? Man United got beat by Real Sociedad 1-0. My first feeling was, how did we lose to that team? I don't know what any other Arsenal fan thought. My feeling was, okay, they just lost to Real Sociedad. How the hell did we go there and lose 3-1? So this is why. Do you know what? A lot of people said to me after Sunday that I overdid it. A couple people, they messaged me and said, you've overdone it. On AFTV as well, when I went on, they said, you've overdone it. Why are you so disappointed that we lost to Man United? I said, because people keep telling me how well we played, but we lost 3-1, and I don't think that's a great Man United team. So that 3-1 for me was not worth the pat on the back. I would have been disappointed if I was the manager. You then watch them against Sociedad, who just defend, kept things tight, nicked it 1-0. So everyone was saying to me, oh, let's laugh at Man United. I was like, cool, I get it, but we just lost 3-1 to them 4 days ago. Or, you know, so how did that happen? So it left more questions than answers for me. Fitz said his head isn't down. It was when his mum and dad and brother. Hey, listen, man, thoughts are out to you. And listen, I'm sure you've been through some terrible things there. And keep your head up, bro. Appreciate the super chat as always. Fitz says it as it is. JW said maybe they stop football so more football fans down or tune into their coverage as they tend to be more Queen orientated. Rest up though, Lizzie. Yeah, man. Maybe they don't want people traveling around, and, you know, I don't know. I'm not sure. They haven't really given reasons. In terms of Arsenal, again, we won the game yesterday, but it left me again with big question marks about this Arsenal team and more this Arsenal squad. I just think we're horribly short, people. Honestly, I think we're horribly short. And what sent alarm bells ringing for me yesterday was the fact that we had to basically draw for the cavalry to get us over the finish line. Now, we dominated possession, 71%, 18 shots. The game should have been done and dusted. The fact that we had to draw for Gabriel Jesus, Martin Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli had to play the whole 90 minutes. We had to play what is at the moment our full strength midfield. then that worries me. We used to get through Europa League groups playing, youngsters and the players off the bench. We don't have a lot of depth right now, man. We're horribly short. Now, I know there was no Cedric, no El Neni, no Thomas Partey, no Smith Rowe. 4 players missing. That does make a difference to the squad. A couple of them would have played. A couple of these guys would have dropped to the bench. Gives us a little bit of strength in depth. But it worries me that we're going to have to actually play a strong team to get through this Europa League group, because Zurich, you would say on paper right now, are the worst team in this group, because Bodo went to Eindhoven last night, drew 1-1, and apparently with a better team. So even though I was joking about them at the start, saying, I've never heard of them pretty much, Bodo and PSV might be more difficult games than Zurich, and Zurich were not even easy work for us last night. So we're going to go through player ratings. I didn't watch the game back. A lot has happened. I did obviously watch the game on the watch along, but, I was engulfed in the comments and we were just kind of watching half-heartedly. So, but listen, couple of positives. Number one, we won the game. PSV and Bodo drew, so we're top. The other teams are on 1 point. That's a positive. The result's more important than the performance. This is cup competition football. You don't have to necessarily play great to win a competition. However, we are going to play far more better teams during this Europa League campaign than FC Zurich, especially with Champions League teams dropping out. I think we looked at it during the watch-along last night. I think Inter are in a strong group. We were saying that teams like Inter Milan, Seville, a few decent teams are likely to drop into the Europa League. So I'm seriously worried about the strength in depth of this squad. I got to be totally honest. The bright spot was Marquinhos, man of the match, best player on the pitch, silky, vibrant, good crosses, end product, passion, looks as if he could be a talent. Could he be another Gabriel Martinelli, in the sense that it's an unknown Brazilian winger who we don't know a lot about, and he actually becomes a very good player? In fact, he's come from a higher level than what Martinelli came from. Martinelli was playing like Division 2, Division 3. He's coming from higher than him, so he could be a top player for us. Time will tell. Some people saying in the comments that some people are making fun of the fact that he was crying when he scored. Listen, I genuinely, and people said, somebody said to me, the only reason that you're bigging him up is because he's an Arsenal player. If that happened to a different club, you'd mock it. I genuinely wouldn't. I wouldn't mock it, because at the end of the day, one thing about me, I don't mock people's personal life, because everybody's got their own story. Everybody's got their own struggles. Marquinhos might have come from poverty. He might have lost family members. He's probably dreamed about playing at the top level all of his life. It's so difficult to make it as a professional footballer. Him getting to this level, scoring in the Europa League, there's no way I would mock that. You could see how much that meant to him. He couldn't hold back the tears. I have absolutely no problem with him shedding tears, and I think it's an absolute pleasure for him to have that sort of passion and to reach that point in his career. So I say congratulations to him. Me as an Arsenal fan, it meant a lot to me seeing him have that sort of passion. I think over the last 5-6 years, we've had too many players at this football club who have acted like we're doing them a favour by giving them a contract at Arsenal. This is Arsenal Football Club. This is one of the biggest clubs in world football. One of the biggest fan bases in world football. Wherever you go in the world, they know about Thierry. They know about Dennis. They know about Patrick. They know about Tony. I'm calling these men by their first name. You know who them man are, right? This guy plays for Arsenal. He's embraced it. He loves it. He cried when he scored, and I'm all for it. I ain't going to laugh at the guy. I don't know the struggle that he's had. So congrats to him. I'd rather see that sort of passion than these little robot players who've got no personality and show no passion. So big up Marquinhos. I will never mock a 19-year-old who's made it to Arsenal, who's come from South America, who's probably struggled and can't believe what's happened. He scored a goal on his debut, so big him up. Big him up, people. Let's celebrate him. This is what we want as football fans. We want passionate players who connect with the fans, who understand that you're privileged to be at Arsenal. You're privileged to be on thousands of pounds a week. I think for me in society nowadays, too many footballers are disconnected with the fans. So I think it's heartwarming to see a player feel like that. So big him up. You won't hear me mocking him, and I genuinely wouldn't mock any player, even if he played for a different club. So big him up. And listen, give this kid opportunities. Give him the opportunities now. He doesn't need to be sitting on the bench all game. You saw yesterday, I know it's Europa League and the Premier League's a big difference. We can all see that there is talent there. It's about how you harness that potential. It's about the opportunities you give him. I think Arteta's got to be brave now in Premier League games and say, listen, if Saka's struggling, I can take him off. I can take him off now. Listen, I don't like to get carried away with players, and I think sometimes it's wrong to judge a player quickly, whether they do well or do bad. You know, on one hand, Marquinhos played brilliant. It doesn't mean he's a world beater. On the other hand, Matt Turner hasn't looked good. It doesn't mean he's terrible. However, I just think sometimes, people, you can see a player. For me, you can see a player pretty much straight away. I don't even think you have to do anything special. I think it's the way you manipulate the ball, the way you cross the ball, the way you hit it. You could just tell when Marquinhos put that cross in for Martinelli, it's like, damn, this boy can cross a ball with quality. Then he scores the goal. You're like, look at the finish. That's on his right foot. You know, I think we got a live one here. I'm telling you, I think we got a live one. So big him up. Let's get into the player ratings. And as I said, the most important thing was the victory, the performance. Certainly, there was a few concerns. Big up Super Trooper 73. Thank you very much for becoming a member. I know I've said it a number of times. We will definitely do a member stream next week, especially now. Things are going to be a lot more quiet on the channel. 100% we'll do a member stream. I'll try and do it on Monday, I think. No, it's my missus' birthday. We'll do it on Tuesday, possibly. So we'll get that done. Europa League and Premier League, big step up, says Guna 8. Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. You know, North London Derby could potentially be the next Premier League game. He's going to feel the levels from Zurich. King said, what impressed me so much with Marquinhos was his decision-making and his end product. Yes, it was Zurich, but you can see the talent is there. You're right. He knew, now I'm going to run. Then when they doubled up on him and they realised he was a talent, he said, I'll just keep the ball. I'll keep the ball. So his decision-making was very good. Dino, thank you for the super chat. He said, understand, some men don't just come from poverty. These men come from real life and death settings. So crying from a debut goal is warranted. I'm totally with you, bro. I'm totally agree with you. And that's like I said, you won't hear anything from me mocking a player. Making it in football itself is extremely difficult. Even if you didn't come from difficulty, it's so hard. Less than 1% of footballers make it. I thought it was actually quite humbling to see that reaction. Big up Omar, man. Hope you're well, bro. Appreciate the super chat, man. Really appreciate that. Dio said, sorry, but with Matt Turner, he seems too timid between the sticks. He doesn't give me confidence. Scary sight should Ramsdale get injured. And I totally agree with you. I'm about to talk about him in the player ratings. Big up Dio. J Dime said, Curtis, I got a lot of respect with how you carry yourself, bro. Honestly, big up yourself. Big up J Dime. I appreciate that. Thank you very much to everybody who's tuned in today. 1,500 of you in the chat. You know, I'm trying to manage the stream in the right way. I wanted to give my honest opinion about the football being called off, but also in the right manner, you know. Ray Locks, thank you very much for the super chat, bro. He said, to the realest one, Big C, I appreciate you. I hear you and how deep you are filled with empathy. I felt Marquinhos as well and can tell he's top quality. Love you, brother. Keep doing your thing. Ray, really appreciate your kind words. Thank you very much. And appreciate everybody for tuning in today. I realise it's a difficult time and football at the moment may not happen. And obviously what's happened with the Queen, a lot of people may not tune in. But I appreciate every one of you who has tuned in today. Let's go through the player ratings. And as I said, I didn't watch the game back. I didn't even watch the highlights back. So I've just got to kind of go off what I saw at the time. I have written my numbers down, but again, I'll lean on the community for some, little bit of guidance. Let's talk about Matt Turner, people. Matty Turner. I mean, the goal is nothing to do with him. He doesn't give away the penalty, and Nketiah fouled the player. Goes the wrong way for the penalty. Ultimately, it's pot luck for a goalkeeper. For me, he's not very good. At this moment in time, I'm going to be totally honest. I speak my truth on this channel. Opinions can change. Maybe after time, more games will see a better goalkeeper. For me, Matt Turner, at this moment in time, what I have seen is not a top quality goalkeeper. I am seriously concerned about what happens if Aaron Ramsdale gets injured. I've written down 5.5 because ultimately he didn't do that much wrong. So I don't want to destroy him. I'm not going to start giving him 3s, 4s. I just think he has I don't know what it is. There was a time in the first half, he got the ball, he hesitated, he gave it straight to their player, it was cleared off the line. I'm like, in the Premier League, that could be a goal, bro. I'd say it was an average performance with a little tweak of unpredictability. I've given him a 5.5. I want to see what you think, people. Midnight said he looked out of his depth. PG said I'm being harsh. Darb said he looks to me about as good as 18 of the Prem's second choice goalkeepers. That's a good point. I suppose a lot of the teams, their second choice goalkeepers aren't great. Man United just signed Dubravka though. He's better. Chelsea have got Kepa. I mean, I don't rate Kepa, but he's better than Turner. Man City, I think they've got Stefan, is it? The other American goalkeeper. He's not great. I don't know who Liverpool's. I think it's Kelleher. So a lot of the second choice goalkeepers are not great. It's just the brother Ramsdale needs to stay fit all season. Amo said 6, but maybe generous. J Dime said the man had eyeliner on. Tina Turner settings. I'm telling you, I might be doing him a disservice. I thought he had makeup on his eyes. Maybe it's just the way his eyes look. Who the hell is the goalkeeper scout? I mean, please, if you've pulled Runarsson and then you've pulled Matt Turner, I'm just not sure if you're delivering as an adequate second choice goalkeeper. We've been spoiled with our second choice goalkeepers, Ryan, Leno and Emmy. I think it's getting harder and harder now, people, for Premier League clubs to have a quality second choice goalkeeper, because ultimately a good goalkeeper's not going to want to sit on the bench. So you may get away with a year of having a Leno on the bench or a year of an Emmy Martinez. But after that, they're going to say, that's it, time to go and play. I'm not going to completely write Matt Turner off. That's the first thing I'll say, right? I remember how poor David De Gea was when Manchester United first signed him, and he was a 20+ million pound goalkeeper. A year or so later, people were saying he's the best goalkeeper in the world at some stages anyway. Some United fans were saying that. So I'm not going to completely write him off. I think that's unfair, but at the moment, doesn't fill me with confidence. Ben Foster, wouldn't be the worst number 2 goalkeeper. I don't know if he's better than Matt Turner, but, give us some good content on YouTube. We need Ramsdale fit the whole season. That's all I'm saying. As a Madrid fan, you guys should go for Lunin, who is our backup keeper, Ukrainian international, tall, commanding, excellent, provides competition. Would he come to us and be second choice? Maybe he'd rather stay at Madrid. And he gets a 5.5 for me. I think it was a 6 out of 10 performance, but that little wobble nearly cost us a goal. He gets a 5.5. I'm a little bit worried about him. Sam Johnston is a proper goalkeeper. He's not bad. Matt Turnip, that's harsh, man. He said, what's a clean sheet got to do with it? Nah, Nelson. Big up Nelson, though. I like that. You brought a smile to the community. Man said, what's a clean sheet got to do with it? Who needs a clean sheet when a goal can? I don't know. I'll stop there. I ain't got no more lyrics, but I hear you. Big up Nelson. I take Foster all day. Omid said, Foster is clear of Turner. Let's not do this. Yeah, man, and a great YouTube channel as well. Let's get into the back four. Not easy for me to rate the back four, really. We conceded. We didn't look. I'm kind of, for me, people, I'd rate the whole back four at 6 out of 10. That's all I've written down. I don't know if that's just me being lazy and I didn't see it enough. I actually thought Gabriel looked a little bit shaky at times, in fact. I might be doing him a favour. I mean, I'm disappointed we conceded a goal against FC Zurich. I know it wasn't any of the defence who gave away a penalty, but I'm thinking the whole back four at 6 out of 10. Let me know. Holding was shaky. Gabriel looks very sus. Tierney was our best player. He kept spamming high crosses, though, which for me, he needs to mix it up a little bit. Top tier super chat, yeah, quality. Let's see what he's saying. Tomiyasu, yeah, Tomiyasu maybe was a little... I think maybe the fullbacks were better than the centre-backs. Maybe I give 6.5 to the two fullbacks, 7 for the two fullbacks. I thought Gabriel was a little bit shaky. All right, I'll give the two fullbacks a 7, and I'll give the two centre-backs a 6. But I definitely felt like our centre-backs looked shaky yesterday. Gabriel... One thing about Gabriel, I don't think he's great on the ball. I honestly don't. And Rob Holding, I honestly think he was going to get sent off if that striker wasn't offside. So he's very lucky. So two centre-backs were shaky for me. But the goal was nothing to do with them, I suppose. The two full-backs get a 7. We move. Let's go into the midfield. Again, this ain't easy. Do you know what? I'm going to start with Granit Xhaka. I saw something I've never seen on a football pitch yesterday. I saw Granit Xhaka make up 7 or 8 yards on somebody and outpace their midfielder. The man actually fell on the floor. Xhaka outpaced him, tackled him and barged him over. I've never seen it. It was like a miracle. I thought it was a mirage. I was like, what? Is this real? Granit Xhaka had like 85 pace on FIFA yesterday. Maybe the moment he lands in Switzerland. You know, everybody says Xhaka. Oh, we need the Xhaka that plays for Switzerland. Maybe when he lands in Switzerland, you know, he just becomes a better player. That Zurich here just gave him a speed boost. Or maybe the guy he was playing against was hella slow. I don't know. But Granit, captain, led us to victory, you know. He actually had a decent game yesterday. I thought Xhaka actually played well. I'm going to give Xhaka a 7.5 for yesterday. I thought he did well. I thought he was decent on the ball. And the fact the brother ran that quick, you know, I had to rub my eyes. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Granit maybe had a shapeshifter card. I'm telling you, they gave him a speed boost. I thought he played well yesterday. Kept the ball well. Didn't get booked. And he outpaced someone. I'm giving him 7.5. It was the Swiss air, people, the beautiful Alps. Like HE says, man, that clean air gave him the pace boost. So, yeah, he went back home and performed. 7.5 for Granit. James, I've never seen him run that quick, so I got to give him a good rating. Maybe he found his level, Europa League. No, let me move before they say I'm dissing him. Right, we move. Sambi Lokonga. Sambi, for me, played a couple of nice passes going forward. I thought Xhaka was better than him yesterday. People saying 7.5 is too generous. But the outpacing someone, man, you know, I got to give him a high rating. I've never seen it happen like that. Sambi, for me, I've got 6.5 written down. I want to know what you think. Sambi, for me, doesn't convince me at the moment. Going to be totally honest. Again, I have to speak my truth, people. I think Sambi, his role at Arsenal right now should be Europa League, Carabao Cup, FA Cup, and he should be a backup player in the Premier League. The fact that Sambi, for me, is our first choice midfielder at the moment, it concerns me. I just don't think he does enough. He got on the ball yesterday, played a nice pass forward, right? And I thought, all right, I need to see more of that. And I didn't see it pretty much for the rest of the game. And I thought, you just got to get on the ball more. It's like he's in a shell. You need to get him out. You know, you used to get a chocolate when you was younger. You got the Kinder Egg. You had to unlock it to get the toy out. Well, he can't unlock it. 6. Am I being harsh? 6.5. He was steady. He didn't do anything wrong, but he didn't. Him having an average game in the Prem, I would say, all right, you can get away with that. Having an average game against Zurich, I feel like you've got to grab hold of that game and do a little bit more, Sambi. 6.5. I don't know. Some of you giving him a 5, 5.5. He doesn't do enough for me, Sambi. He don't. I'm finding it difficult. Lokonga 6. It's a hard knock life for him. I'm telling you, Jay-Z settings, man. He ain't no 6. He's not O'Malley. You're right. I thought he was solid without being spectacular, but for me, 6.5 for Sambi Lokonga. I think in the Europa League, I need to see more than that from him. Plays at a very slow tempo, he does. Fabio Vieira. Whoa. Fabio Vieira. How do I weigh up his performance? Ultimately, Fabio Vieira cost 35 million. So when we go into the Europa League, I think my expectation is that Fabio Vieira should absolutely boss the game. However, he's just signed for the club, and it's not going to be easy for him to do that. He was okay. Again, I've got 6.5 written down. I thought he played some nice passes. He got a pre-assist, but he's got to go up a level from that. I'm not going to judge him too harsh because he's only just signed for the club. However, unfortunately in life, people judge you off your price tag. They say it's not Pepe's fault he cost 72 million. But every time you watched him play, you went, that ain't 72 million. Ultimately, Fabio Vieira cost 35 million, so there is some expectation. For me, he needs a gym pass. Needs to get stronger. I realise small ball playing attacking midfielders aren't necessarily the strongest, but he looks very lightweight. I think he's decent on the ball. He's got a nice low centre of gravity. He looks to open you up with his passes. But he looks very lightweight. I've got a 6.5. I want to see more from him. And I'll give him time. I'm not going to make a judgment off him just yet. But he's definitely lightweight. HE said his nickname is Skinny. Dio said with Vieira, he's clearly a tidy player, but boy, he defo needs to get his strength up. They need to get him, a protein shake, man. Some yam and dumpling. Matt G, remember Curtis Vieira didn't have a pre-season as he was injured? That's a good point. Didn't have a pre-season. Sambi played pre-season. Sambi, it's his second season. That's why I'm a little bit more judgmental of Sambi than I am of Vieira. He does look silky, but needs to get stronger. Omid said, as a Madrid fan, Valverde was very light and weak when he came to Madrid. He reminds me of that now. Valverde is a beast. Yeah, you have to come to the Prem, adjust to it, get stronger. I'm sure he will. Let's go into the front three. Let's start with Gabriel Martinelli. Gabriel Martinelli, for me, yesterday played like a speedboat with no driver, which is a lot of the time. I used to go to the Emirates and we used to say, this guy Theo Walcott is like a Lamborghini with no steering wheel. You're quick, you're lively, but the amount of times Walcott would run the ball out of play for a goal kick. I actually thought Martinelli yesterday his performance was a little bit wild to me. He played like a wild animal who you've just unleashed. Now, don't get me wrong. Did some brilliant runs. Went past the fullback. It was great. J-Rob, you've nailed it. You ever watch the Grand National or something when the guy's riding the horse and, the guy falls off and the horse just says, yo, I ain't got no one, but I'm still winning this race. And the horse is just like, yo, finally, I ain't got no but a whipping, man, and sitting. I'm just going to keep going. And the horse just goes wild and wins the race. But, they don't count that it won the race. That was Martinelli yesterday. He was, he just buckled and just started running. He was greedy yesterday. And it's funny because the other day I thought it was his best performance of the season. Composure is the word. Composure, my friend. You have to compose yourself. When you're in those positions, you can't get in dangerous areas and not punish teams enough. That's what Martinelli has to do. I felt against United, he was very good, and I felt against Villa, was his best performance. So he's had 2 good games, but yesterday it was Grand National settings. Odeon said, how can I join the chat and you calling a man a horse with no rider? I'm telling you, the horse just booked and started running yesterday. I don't know what Martinelli was doing. He got in great positions, but his end product, man. He missed a sitter as well. Great ball in by Marquinhos. He missed it. I'd give him a 6 just for the, Man called him Darganelli. You're moving mad. H7. Mark, yes, Curtis just tuned in from my holidays. It's the time difference. We'll be rewatching. Big up, bro. Appreciate that. No, give me a second, people. I got to deliver it at the door. Give me 1 sec. I'm going to have to take this. I can't have him banging. Nah, man. Delivery man was banging at the door. He banged the first time. I thought I would just leave it on the doorstep and go. Man said new kit delivered. Nah, I ain't doing that, people. No new kit, In fact, is that the training kit next day delivery? No, it's not. I promise you. I was trying to ignore the door here. The man just started banging the door louder and louder. I said, let me just answer it. Anyway, we move, people. Man said new merch. Don't do that to me, people. I promise you, it ain't merch. And said the Kroenke's just delivered something to his door. Anyway, let's move. Where are we at? Martinelli gets a 6 for me. Wild animal. He played like a wild animal. They bang reckless. If you know what I mean? If I was a delivery man, I'm knocking on the door. One, not what? You didn't answer? Cool. Put it on the step, picture, dash it in your garden. I'm off. This man, he banged. I thought, yeah, one bang. That won't affect the stream. The next one, I thought the police were kicking my door off. So I had to take it. C collecting the latest Kroenke kit. Don't do it to me, people. Don't do it. I promise you it ain't training kit. I promise. The hustle sold separately. No, the community is goated, Grego. You know this, man. There's no community like this. Legendary. Anyway, let's move. Marquinhos. Yes. Come on. I love it. Marquinhos gets a round of applause from me. The brother shed tears for the shirt yesterday. The passion came spilling out of him. I'm sure he had no plans of crying, The passion just came out of him as he looked up. You know that feeling when you hit the ball and as you look up, you see it flying into the top bins. I'm sorry. I believe every Arsenal fan took that Marquinhos moment to their heart yesterday. I'm telling you. The pain came spilling out of him. And me personally, I'm backing him. I felt it myself. I'm telling you. That's a 19-year-old boy living in a different country. Probably hasn't got his family with him. Hasn't even played that much first-team football. You're at big Arsenal, Debut. Not only have you scored, you got man of the match. Played fantastic. Played with maturity. Yeah, it's FC Zurich. Yeah, it's Europa League. He can only do and deal with what's in front of him. Absolutely fantastic performance. A credit to himself. I'm telling you now, wherever he is this morning, I'm sure he's proud of himself. And I tell you one thing, I ain't mocking him because he cried. I'm proud of what he did. He was fantastic. I love that passion. As an Arsenal fan, I want to see that passion. I'm sick of these little Willians and these little foolish ballers acting like we're doing them a favour, letting them play for Arsenal. This is Arsenal, brethren. You should be proud to play for that football club. I love the performance. I love the composure. Every time he got the ball, he pretty much kept it. He puts a great ball in that Martinelli should score. He puts a great ball in that Nketiah does score from. And then he puts one in the top corner. I'm doing something that I don't do very often on this channel. I'm giving him 10 out of 10. I'm giving him 10 out of 10. I don't care. Call him a passion merchant. He gets a 10 out of 10 for me. You're a 19-year-old making your debut. They said you was going to get loaned out. You scored. You assisted. You was dangerous. You cried for the club. That's enough for me, my friend. They dragged you off. You got man of the match. 10 out of 10. Bang. Let's go. Let's go. Simple. 10 out of 10. Boom. Don't do it often. 19 years old, debut, man of the match, goal, assist. Bang. Let's move. 10 out of 10. Give this boy a chance in the Premier League. Give him a chance. If Saka's stinking out the joint, take him off. Give him a chance. Simple as that. Life of Slim, you're bang on there. Absolutely bang on. So how many times we said it on this channel? Pep said that's why Foden got delayed, didn't get in the first team. Couldn't play at different speeds. He was in fifth gear every time, revving the engine. Martinelli does it sometimes as well. Everything's in fifth gear. Sometimes you just got to slow down and keep the ball, you know. Marquinhos played at a number of different speeds yesterday. It was fantastic. Glenn Holder, number 14, pink shirt. Hey, nah. Glenn, don't do that to me, you know. Nah, man, I told people I ain't buying the pink shirt. I mean, if I put 14 on the back of any Arsenal shirt, it'll have Thierry Henry on the back, not Eddie. Let me tell you, no disrespect, Eddie. We're going to come to you in a second. The watcher said, yeah, it's a 10. Even if there were an 11, it would have been that. I'm going to give him his dues, man. It's a great moment. Tarb said, when he celebrated, I remembered why this sport is so beautiful. Yeah, man, that emotion. That's what the sport is all about. I'm not saying you should run around crying every week, but that particular moment meant so much to him, you know, and I'm backing him. He had a really good game. He was our best player and, you know, fantastic debut. Big up, Jay. I hope you're well, bro. He said, big up, Curtis. Nothing worse than a delivery man knocking the door down like the police when you're on a call. I had to cuss one off the other day. Bro, even there, yeah, I went to the window to collect it. The man saying, can you open the door so I can take a picture? I said, brother, just give me the thing through the window, man. What's wrong with you? Man was banging off the door. I heard the knock off, all right, ignore it. He'll drop it on the floor. I was banging off the door. Move, man. Man's trying to work. You know what I mean? Well, big up, Josh. I hope you're well, bro. I thought former Arsenal player Glenn Helder super chatted Big C. Nearly there, not quite. It was Glenn, but not Glenn Helder. Let's get to Eddie. Eddie. It's funny, you know, after about, how long can I say in the game? Maybe 20 odd, 30 minutes. I was sitting there going, oh, Eddie, man, he ain't looking good. He's playing greedy. He's not passing. He shouldn't have the number 14 shirt on. I was calling him Sherman Klump. All of that stuff, Eddie Murphy, Axel Foley. Then he gives away a penalty. I'm like, Eddie, what you doing? But ultimately, Eddie gets the assist. Lovely assist as well. Great little ball with his left foot across the penalty area for Marquinhos to score. Big him up. And then he scores the winning goal. Back post header, good movement, great ball in, and he scores it, hit the target. I got to give Eddie 7.5. Ultimately, if I'm a striker, I get 1 goal, 1 assist. I've had a good game. It doesn't matter even if my all-round performance was not that good. I've always said as a striker, right, for me as a striker, I would rather put in an average performance and score than play fantastic and not score. Ultimately, strikers are judged on their goals and goal contributions. And Eddie, even though I actually don't think he played that well, I probably got to give him an 8 even. Yeah, I got to give him an 8. Yeah, you're right, people. I got to give him an 8. You win the game 2-1, he scores an assist. It's an 8 out of 10. His performance was actually bang average. He gave away a penalty as well. If you get a goal and an assist and you win 2-1, it's 8 out of 10. So, yeah, I'm going to give him an 8. Big up, Eddie. And listen, one thing with Eddie this year, he's got to put up numbers. So when he plays in the Europa League, he's got a bag. He's not going to start every week in the Prem. We know that. So fair play to him. It was a pretty average team performance. He pulled out, 2 major positives, which is the goal and the assist. So, yeah, even though the performance wasn't great, he gave away the penalty. There was a little bit unfortunate as a typical striker in his own penalty area with a stupid tackle. I don't think he was aware the guy was there when he went to volley it, and he takes him out, gives away the penalty. But Eddie gets an 8 because he scored and got an assist, and that's what a striker's life is about, people. Abdul said, Curtis, you're my favourite Arsenal channel. I really enjoy watching and listening to you. Keep doing your thing. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Avik said the penalty was a fault for all defenders who could not clear the ball when it was bouncing around the box. DB10 says fluke assist for Eddie Murphy. That was a deflected cross. Listen, he saw him. It did get a little deflection off the guy. I noticed that. But, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He looked up. And he picked him out with a little bit of help. Timbo said, Eddie is a baller. I didn't like him, but he's reinvented himself. Not just a tapping guy, and he's got better. Listen, he's just got to keep scoring goals, and that'll get him where he needs to get to. In terms of the substitutes, I mean, we made 4 changes. Did anyone really influence the game? Saka, Odegaard, Zinchenko, Jesus. Jesus had a shot. Saka, I just kind of, I'll give them all the same rating. I don't think any of the subs made that much difference because I don't think we played that well in the second half for those guys to thrive, really. So, yeah, I'll give them all the same. 5, 6, they just get a default 5 or 6. Mikel Arteta, with the team that he picked, I think Arteta picked a reasonable team. His substitutions, he obviously didn't feel safe and had to change the... I don't think Arteta could have done much different, to be honest. He picked a team that should have won that game comfortably. So I think that's more on... the players yesterday than the manager. Where I question the manager, of course, is what did you do or not do in the transfer window? But ultimately, we're talking about the game. I'll give Arteta a 7. I don't think he could do much different. He picked a team that should have won, that was balanced, and he brought on subs that should have been able to influence the game better. You know, I think Timbo saying the subs were baffling. Did you think so? I don't think he felt safe. I don't think he felt safe that the game was won, and I think that's why he made the subs, to be honest. We didn't look totally convincing. We nearly gave away a penalty, again, with Rob Holding. That could have been a red card as well. So I give him a 7. He looked a bit frustrated yesterday, and I felt that was good, you know. Show these players that performance isn't acceptable, in my opinion. We're going to have to go up a level if we're going to get anything out of this competition. So, yeah. The fans, 10 out of 10. I can tell you now, people, any fan that went to that game spent a lot of money because those flights were expensive. I was going to go to that game, as you know. The cheapest flight I could see was around £500. That's not without your train that you had to get to the ground, your ticket, your food, your drink, your hotel, because you couldn't get a flight back to London after. So you're looking at £700-800 to go and watch that game. So the fans is a straight 10 out of 10. Big them up each and every time, people. Anyway, there is no press conference reaction as Arsenal did not do a press conference after the game. I believe out of respect for the Queen. I don't even know if Mikel Arteta was interviewed by BT Sport after the game. They have nothing on their website, so there was no press conference. So no press conference reaction to the game yesterday. So we're just going to quickly talk transfers, short and sweet. We've been on for an hour and 6 minutes. Appreciate each and every one of you. 1,600 of you in the chat. Make sure you like the video and subscribe. Ben Jacobs, who, of course, we had on transfer deadline day. He's been on twice now. Got a great scoop yesterday. Brilliant scoop. He did an interview with Mikhailo Mudryk, who I did banter at the start. Not because he was a bad player, because he was playing in what appeared to be a car park. And I kept saying Modric instead of Mudryk, but it appears he might be a bit of a better player than I thought he was after his brilliant performance in the Champions League the other night. However, Ben Jacobs interviewed him, and he spoke English as well. And Mudryk said, my dream is to play in the Premier League. Of course, Arsenal is a very good team, very good manager. I won't give my opinion on the second part of what he just said there, because if I speak, I might be in big trouble. But he said, so from my side, I can't say no to Arsenal. This is what he told Ben Jacobs. He said, but a transfer, it's not just up to my decision. I think the fact that he's so openly talking about Arsenal like that tells me that the club have probably said to him that, listen, if we receive an offer of a certain amount of money, we're willing to let you leave. It's just a case of whether Arsenal are willing to pay. There are rumours they want 50 million euros, which is around £42.5 million. I don't see Arsenal dropping 42.5 million on a player that has got so little experience behind him at the moment. However, if he keeps banging in the Champions League, maybe that'll all change. He might look like a bargain by the time the Champions League group finishes. So we'll have to see. Yeah, maybe he's seen me, bantering him and said, "No, I'm not having this. Let me show him." I did message Ben Jacobs for if he had any additional information, but there was nothing. I wanted to find out if he'd said anything else. Pre-agreement, if the club really want him. But the thing is, if you're Shakhtar, would you want to do a pre-agreement? Because if he rips up the Champions League group, let's say, for example, they do a pre-agreement with Arsenal at 40 million, and he rips up the Champions League group, all of a sudden, he might be worth 55 million. If he scores in every Champions League game and rips it up and everyone's looking at him. So I'm not sure Shakhtar, would they even want to do a pre-agreement? The price might go up. Yesterday's price is not today's price. Fat Joe settings, people, as he said, yesterday's price is not today's price. The price has gone up since Arsenal's indecisiveness. Exactly, Yeah, Zaha. Listen, for me, Arsenal, 10 Premier League games until the World Cup. Could be 9 now with this rearranged fixture. Potentially 8 if next weekend's fixtures are cancelled as well. Get through 8 games. Get a winger and a centre midfielder in January. That gives us an opportunity to get to the end of the season and achieve something. I have to admit, St. Mark, this guy who I can't say his name, Kvratskhelia, is it? I'd not seen this guy play until the other night for Napoli. I was like, who is this guy? This guy looks like a baller against Liverpool. Don't know much about him, but he looks serious. DB10 said his biggest worry is Lokonga. He seems to be lacking in confidence. Hope he improves or else we are F since Partey and El Neni are both out. I suppose the only positive, people, is from this obviously terrible situation and games being postponed, is Thomas Partey will probably be back available by the time Arsenal play their next, Premier League game. He's apparently back in training already, and it looks as if he could be back by the time that we play our next league game. As I said, for anybody tuning in late, I'm about to round up, but obviously this weekend all Premier League fixtures have been cancelled. The boxing has been postponed as well. People are telling me in the comments. I think the cricket's been postponed as well. Because the Queen's funeral looks likely to be next weekend, because so many police will have to be at that funeral, it is believed Premier League fixtures next weekend could be cancelled as well. Could, not definitely, but could be cancelled as well. The week after that is the international break, so potentially you're looking at 3 weeks until our next league game, which is a massive blow. However, there seems to be some doubt about the European games that are going on this week. It seems if you've got a fixture in Europe that is outside of England, i.e. if you're playing away from home, it seems as if that game is going to go ahead. Where if you're playing in England, the game looks like it might be called off. Arsenal play PSV at home, so our game could be called off. But there's talk the games could be moved and played in Ireland, so we'll have to see. Omar and Timbo saying the cricket is going ahead. I thought the cricket was cancelled. So Arsenal's next Premier League game could potentially be in 3 weeks. October the 1st, North London Derby, 12:30 kickoff from the Emirates. So it's going to be interesting. As I said, this will affect content on the channel. I don't like to force content. We'll play it by here. I think European games will go ahead this weekend, and we should get some Champions League football. So what we're going to do, we'll do daily shows as and when. I'm going to try and get some collabs because it's easier sometimes to get through a show with a collab. I'll do a show as and when. We'll do watch-alongs for the Champions League. Obviously, we'll do a watch-along for Arsenal if we do play on Thursday against PSV. This weekend, there'll be no Premier League games. Maybe, I don't know if there's any major fixtures in Europe. Maybe we could do a Barcelona, a Paris Saint-Germain, a Real Madrid watch-along. I'm not sure. I'll have a look. If not, we may get on Twitch and do some different content on there. So bear with me, people. And we will do a member stream on Tuesday. Maybe we could do some stuff on Twitch and look over some football content and maybe do some music. Listen, people, want to thank everyone for tuning in today. I also want to thank you for your support after the watch along yesterday. It got a bit crazy with all the announcement of the Queen. So big up to everyone for supporting. Appreciate you all tuning in today. Like the video, subscribe if you haven't already. We will have plenty of content going off, but just bear with me. We'll play it by here as to how things develop. Enjoy your weekend, people. Stay safe, take care, and make the most of every day, people. And I will see you all, well, will I see you tomorrow? Maybe I'll see you tomorrow. We will see what fixtures are about. But enjoy your weekend, people, and I'll see you soon. Bless.